觉啊，在这个早上起床之后又活动了一会之后，又重新去这个睡了一觉。
After getting up, she moved around, had some sport, and then she went back to sleep.
那我们先跟我们的这个大熊猫的这个饲养员，我们可以说，这个从我们三胞胎怀孕
And now we have invited the keeper of the
这个可
panda,
以说是非常重要的一个阶段。
starting by the pregnancy of the triplet to the delivery and then to the raising of the cubs. This is a very long process and it's also very important. And this is Lady Xin. Please say hi to the audience. Good to you all. And where's MoMo now? She's coming because now it's the food intake time. We will put our fully prepared food and then she's coming. It's been a long time that we have been covering the story of the triplet. Usually we come by the morning when she's playing around, but today is a kind of special case because she's sleeping today in the morning. Maybe that is due to the pregnancy, right? Every day, usually for a panda, they will spend 10 to 12 hours to sleep. And for this panda, Meng Meng, she's very alike her mother in character, so she's very calm and mild. You can call her name to wake her up, and then she very lazily will get up, move around. And she moved in very slow pace. That is due to her special character. She's a very calm panda. Is she moving at usual pace or is she slowing down? She's always like that, very gentle and very elegant, and she's at ease because she's at home. According to your knowledge, is there a big difference between the current status to the previous performance? Currently, we cannot tell a great difference from the past. So for this preliminary period, meaning that after the mating, there are several stages for the protection of the baby. During that estrus period, there will be a declining of appetite. After the mating, she will gain some weight and she will restore her appetite. And now she becomes again very foodie and she will take in more food than the estrus period. 1 month later, we can see another decline, a second decline in her appetite and also food intake. At birth time, we can see every cub is very small, as big as our palm. And finally, they will arrive at 100 kilograms, especially for the triplet. Now, Meng Meng has 100 kilograms, but at birth time, she had only 90.5 grams. And for her brother Kuku, he had 133 kilograms now, but had only more than 100 grams at birth. We have prepared special food for the panda. Does she always like this food or only after pregnancy? Those are carrots pieces, and also the apples, grapes, and bamboo shoots. We have put this pieces together, and it would take her more time to get each pieces out. Why do we have to prolong the intake time? We try to hide the food so that we can have this hide and seek game with a panda. We can prolong a little bit the period of intake. We have to give the panda some possibility to move around and also do some sport. If they can get to the food too easily, then they would have too much time for sleeping, and it means an excessive growth of weight. And some viewers are asking us some questions on the platform. And they are asking us how could we distinguish each one of them. Actually, each panda is different from the others. You can tell from the face. For example, Meng Meng has a very elegant face. She looks like her mother. And by that black circle around the eye, the circle is smaller than her brothers, Kuku and Shuai Shuai. She has a smaller face than her brothers. Especially for her brother Shuai Shuai, he has a very strong image with a strengthened black circle around the eyes. And another brother, Kuku, has a wider face. And usually for the size of it, at adult age, the males will have a bigger body weight and also a body size than the females. If we put all the panda together, you can easily tell the difference. And also for Shuai Shuai and Kuku, the brothers of Meng Meng, you can tell by the white color on the fur on their hind legs. So if you look at them very carefully and spend time to observe those pandas, you can find the differences. And now after mating for Meng Meng, what is the expected delivery time? The mating time is between the 15th to 17th of May. The pregnancy days would vary from 116 days to 142 days. For those who have had babies, you know that the pregnancy period is very challenging and it's no easy job. And you have also taken care of a lot of cubs of panda. So according to you, what is the feeling of panda? Is it a difficult job for the panda to get pregnant and also to carry the baby? Actually, the cubs, because they have very small size at birth date, they are only 1 to 1,000 or maximally 1 to 900 to the weight of the mother. So it's not a very big weight compared to the weight of the mother. So to carry the baby is not that difficult for the panda. However, talking about the estrus period, for each female panda, they will only have one estrus period for the year, so that is more difficult for our keepers to get them pregnant. And we consider the giant panda as the treasure of our country. In recent years, we have the artificial reproduction of the panda, and we have done a successful job in that case. Actually, the reproduction and the pregnancy of the giant panda come with no accident. It's all planned. We have the national plan for the pregnancy and mating of the giant panda. We have the full picture consideration, for example, with which male panda to mate, which panda would be the father of the future cubs, etc. We want to have the best option and the best breeding. We have made all our plans. We have picked the species. During the estrus period, we will send each female panda back to their homeland in Sichuan Province. So for Meng Meng, this time she has mated with another male panda named Lanzai. We will choose the best male for the best mixture of the genes. It's always the best decision for the panda. So do we have to carry each estrus panda back to their homeland Sichuan Province for the mating? There are two very reproductive male panda in the Chimelong Safari Park, and they have grown up here. And according to our measurement, we have shifted them back to Sichuan Province, and they can have more mating opportunities with the other female panda. For the Rongrong Meng Meng, in the future, they may come with the other future plans. Maybe in the future there are possibilities for Meng Meng and the other females to get mated here in the Guangzhou city, but currently all the male breeders, they have been transported back to the Sichuan Province. So for those newcomers to our program, I'd like to brief to you, and we are looking now at the giant panda Meng Meng. She's the oldest panda triplet, and that is the world's only triplet for panda. Now she is pregnant. We know that for each panda, every year they only have one chance of estrus, and that period will not last very long. So this year, by the mid of May, during the estrus season of this panda Meng Meng, we have transported Meng Meng back to the Sichuan Province for the mating, and then we have moved her back to the Chimelong Safari Park. So after all those circulation, transportation, does this mean any difficulty for them to be adapted to the new environment? Because Meng Meng has grown up in this Chimelong Safari Park, so even though she has quitted this place for half a year for the mating, today when she's back, it's very easy for her to get back to the environment and get adapted to that place. So as long as you don't create strange sounds or you don't yell, will be okay with her. So for the pregnant panda, it's very important to have a very quiet environment. But we cannot close her down in a narrow space. We have to let the panda live very freely in the wild. So today, we have to educate our visitors. We have to educate them not to make any strange sounds to attract the attention of this panda Meng Meng. They cannot pat on the windows and they cannot yell at them, otherwise they will scare this pregnant panda. When we are moving towards the delivery day, we can observe another decline in their appetite and also food intake. During that period of time, we will refuse all the visitors. We will give her an enclosed chamber for the delivery. But now it's still in the first stage, in the preliminary phase of the pregnancy, and we're moving towards the middle stage of the pregnancy. So we will let her free in the wild. We still allow visitors to see this panda, but there will always be the presence of the keepers around. So if there are any strange sounds, the keepers will come up and educate the visitors. So we hope that all the visitors coming to this park will respect all the rules and try your best to keep the distance and visit the park in a civilized way. And in front of us, there are bamboo leaves and bamboo shoots. And there are name cards. So I heard that the appetite has changed a little bit with MoMo. Is that true? After the mating, the appetite has changed a lot. She preferred this sweet taste leaves. Which one? At the beginning, she likes this one. It's the sweet bamboo leaves. This was her favorite. And these bamboo. But after the visit to Sichuan Province, her appetite changed. She has shifted to these kind of bamboo, which she would refuse to eat in the past before the pregnancy. So every day we have to prepare all those food according to her appetite and also her preferences. And we also have to calculate all the nutritious elements in the food. When we move towards the delivery date, we have to pay a great attention to the food intake and also never lose sight of the quantity of the intake. We cannot allow the bamboo to take in too much food one day. And this is the cake of panda. What is it made of? Inside this cake, we have added the powder of corn, the powder of bamboo, eggs, sugar, salt, and also vegetable oil. We mix them together, and then we put them on the stain for more than 3 hours. So we make fresh cakes every day. And the quantity, the volume is always calculated. And this is a very solid cake. Is it too hard for them, or it's just a good one? You have to make it solid, otherwise it would be a little bit sticky for them if it's soft. We have noticed this too. This is the favorite of the past. So it looks very solid. Actually, the panda don't like the soft bamboos. They love the bamboo of 3 to 5 years old. For the leaves, the newer the better, but for the bamboo trunks, it has to be with some solidity inside. And those two would be accepted by the panda Meng Meng. And look over there, another species of the bamboo that is also one of her favorites. For those who have babies, you know that we were taking some vitamins and also the milk powder and also the other nutritious elements like the calcium. So for panda, what is that structure of nutrition? We will give them some trunks of bamboo and also the carrots and apples. And also this cake, as we have mentioned before, every day in their food intake, we add up some vitamin and also the calcium. And for the panda Meng Meng, it's been more than 20 minutes that she's been eating. What is the speed of the food intake? Actually, from an early age until now, Meng Meng remains a very mild panda. She had also grabbed the food away from her brothers, and then she climbed onto the tree branches and had food alone. If there's no competition for food, then she would take her time to eat very slowly. And for our viewers, they have been asking questions from the beginning of our program, and they have made some resume. And they say that actually we are covering the food intake procedure of a panda because she's always having her food. So after this round of food intake, will she directly go back to bed or will she move around and have some sport? For an adult panda, every day they will spend 10 to 12 hours to sleep and another 10 to 12 hours to eat. So there are few hours left for them to play around. It's like our babies too. So today when you come to the zoo, if the panda is playing around, actually you're a lucky person because it's not very often for them to have this playing activities in the day. We have mentioned before they will spend a lot of hours to sleep and to eat during the daytime. After coming to the adulthood, they will live around. When they were very small, the triplets would live together and play around. And after growing up, they will become calmer and they will spend more time to eat and also to sleep. You can have more time to eat and they can take their time because there's no competition. And when we feed them, we can talk to them, pat them very gently, especially on their belly and on their head. We want to use these kind of reactions to get familiar with the panda, so the panda would make friends with you. That would facilitate our later work after the delivery of the cubs, because we need to take the cubs away from the mother panda and also to take some milk from the mother panda so we can feed the cubs. It's not very often for us to see the triplets, even with humans, and this less so with the
其实呢，
panda.
熊猫生三胞胎的概率是非常低的，可遇不可求。那它虽然有这个三胞胎的基因，但是呢，我们也不是说
What
非
is
要
the
说
ratio
一
of
定是多胞胎或者是
possibility
双胞
for
胎。那现在目
the
前来说，
panda
在
to have the
初期
triplet?
阶段，我
Actually,
们
it's
是
very
没办法
rare.
去说有几只，怀有几只。那只有到中
we
期它的食欲
cannot
大量的上来之后，那我们可以做一些个医疗驯化，让它平常
Expect
给它的腹
that
部呢
it would
打
be
一个 B
another
超，那那个
triplet,
时候呢
but
才能
still
断
we
诊到的是
can
几
have
只。
some
但是至于
exercises with
三
the
胞胎这个
panda
毕竟这概率太少了，
and
太低
also
了，
to
只能说可
use
遇不可
the
求。我们希望好运再一次的降临，但是呢，不一定非得就是三胞胎。
tests and also the
其
equipment
实我
to
们说到这个
see
三胞胎
how
啊，
many
我们说这
babies the
个
mother
叫
is
做全球
carrying.
唯一存活的，不仅是出现的这个概率很低，它出现了之后让它存活下来，这
Today,
个也
the
是非常难的。
triplet
这也是我
in
们回到
which
一个话
MoMo
题，就是
is
说
in
熊
is
猫
the
其
world's
实
only
熊猫的妈
triplet.
妈，它其
It's
实
the
更多
only
的，它的本性还
survived
是
the
在一
triplets
个小
for
孩
panda.
一个崽，这是它的一个叫做最基本的。所
And
以
for the
像我
each
们这
mother
个三胞胎
panda,
当时
their habit or their
3个出
nature
来
is
之
to
后，
take
它的
care of
妈妈
only
是怎么
one
带它
cub
们
at
的
a
呢？是
time.
我们饲养员
So
就
after the birth
怎
of
么
these
去带哪
triplets,
个不带哪个呢？这个怎么样？
what did the mother
其实呢，
panda
那个熊
do?
猫呢，如果在野外的情况下生双胞胎，
Did she make a
或者是多
choice
胞
to
胎，
take
那它只
one
能
of
选择
them,
其中一
or
个
she
比较
took
强
care
的
of
自己带，
all
那
the
另外一
three?
个呢就是自动放弃了。但是在圈养
If
条
it
件
is
下，因
in
为
the
有人
wild,
可以帮着
the
它，所
mother
以呢，我们的
would
无论是
pick the
双胞胎还是
strongest
这
of
三胞
all the
胎，它
cubs
们
of
从
all
小
the
的时候
babies,
生
and
出
then
来
she
之
would
后，我
leave
们
the
人
other
工帮
babies
忙育幼
aside
两个，
to let
但
them
是呢，让
survive
它
on
们
their own.
同样的均
But
等
now
的享
because
受母
it's
爱，它5
captive
天一轮换，就是5天一
raising,
轮换，直
so
到呢。
we give equal
对，
care
每5
of
天就换一下，每
each
5天就
of
换
the
一下。
three.
然后呢，等到他们都
They will
是
take a
4个月大的
shift
时候，
every 5
能够完
days.
全独立的走了，才全还给妈妈的。
And then
有
at
网
the
友在
age of
问
4
哈，
months, when
我
they
们现在
can
看到了，
walk
我们说三胞胎，
independently,
现在
we
看到
give
的是只有
all
一
the
只萌
cubs,
萌，
the
它
three of the
它这样子
triplets
分开
back
之
to
后，
the
它不会
mother
孤独
panda.
了。这个其实也又
And
回到
now
我们
we
这
are
个
only
一个
looking
比较
at
基本的一个问题，就是其实我们
萌萌
大熊猫
one
它
of the
是
three
本来就是应
babies
该
from
是
the
独居
triplet.
的
So we
这么
would
一个
like
动
to
物，它不
ask
像
the
我们的像
question,
猴子，
does she
猴子呢
feel
是群居，以群居为主，一个大家
alone,
庭为主。
or
大熊猫是
it
以
is
群居
already
为
a
主，
habit?
这个
It's a
是按照
nature
怎么样
for
的
the
去划分
panda
的，
to
就
live
是它们
alone.
可能是到一定年纪吧。
As we know, the monkeys, they would like
成
to
年的
live in
熊猫呢都
groups.
是
And
独居
what
的。
is the nature
如
for
果你
panda?
强行的放在一起，
Or
就
it
比如
would
说它们是
change
三胞
according to
胎
their age.
达到一定的
For the
年龄也
adults,
必须要分开。
panda, they
像
prefer to
帅帅
live
和
independently,
那
live
倒是亲
alone.
兄弟呢。
Even though
到
two
4岁以后呢，
pandas,
它
they
妈妈
are
就打得比较
twins,
凶了。
they
然
have
后
to be
那个
separated
4岁
after
半的时候
coming
接
to
近5岁
adulthood.
的时候，那现在还不到5岁嘛。
We have to
那打得
separate
基本
them,
上就不
otherwise
开
they
了，
would
没办法
fight
分开，
one
因
with
为它
another,
领域性
especially
越来
after
越
the age
强
of 4.
占地盘的那种意识是越来越强，所以呢都是当成
Because
仇敌
they
了，就是你死我
have
活的那种打。
grown
如果
this
不分开，他们会
awareness
打伤
about
严重的
their
时候可能会造成死亡，所以
territory.
是必须要分开的。
They would fight with
过
each
去我们
other
这个
to
在三胞胎
occupy
小
their
的
land.
时候，
We
更
have
多的
to
看在电视上能看得到，
move
大家
them.
在电视上能看得到，他们
It
三个
is
是在一
an
个
obligation to separate them, otherwise they would
空间里
fight
面
each
那
other
么我
even
们
to
饲养
death.
员可能更多的也希望他们有更多的互动，互动能帮助他们的去成长，他的动作的协调啊和他这个体
Today
力啊
they are
各方面
living in
对
their
他成长
own
是有帮助的。
spaces.
但
But
是
for
他到
the
了这个年
keepers,
纪，
we
你看
also
我们
want to
往
give
往
them
是
some
已经
help during their
接
growing
近
up,
5岁的这个年纪已经
help
是
them to
怀孕
move
了。
and help
那
them to
我们
walk.
还有2个弟弟，
And now MoMo
那
is
2个
almost
弟弟我们也
5,
在关心他什么时候可以，是马上了吗？
and she
还
has
是
2
还要等一等？
younger brothers.
熊猫呢，雄性熊猫呢，在教养条件下呢，它跟雌性的也是没办法比的，因为雌性大熊猫它的性成熟呢，要比雄性的要早。那雌性大熊猫圈养条件下5岁就可以
When is
可以
the
成熟
time for
雄性的可能要晚1到2
the
年。
rutting of the 2 younger brothers of Meng Meng? Actually, it's very different between the female and the males. For a female adult panda, the estrus season can already start at the age of 5, but for the male, you have to wait until the age of 6 to 7 years for the rutting. And for Meng Meng, the current status of pregnancy Is it different or similar to the status of her mother when carrying Meng Meng and the two younger brothers? Actually, now in the preliminary stage, there is no big difference. And later, towards the further stage of the pregnancy, due to the hormone and the other effects of the pregnancy, there will be a big change in their daily behaviors, and we will follow that very closely. And we have also carried out the domestication of the panda. For example, we have to take their blood for the test, and we have trained them to reach out their arms, and we have also trained them to stand up, to walk, to reach out the arms. In the beginning, we would start by patting on their shoulders, and then after half a year or after 4 months, they will get used to you and be more familiar with you, and it's the time for us to give the health check on the panda, including the blood taking. For each season, we have to take the blood sample from the panda for the test. And without using the anesthesia. And because we don't use the anesthesia, it's good for the health of the panda too. And another question, in their childhood, the panda prefer to climb the trees up and down, and what is the behavior change of the adult panda? Even now she is pregnant, we will not restrict her behaviors. She can still feel free to climb up to a tree and then climb down. We always let her to move around and do whatever she wants. But sometimes we would also be close to the mother panda to tell her how to be a good mother, how to take care of the cubs. Is it possible that you can get so close to the mother panda just after the delivery? As I mentioned before, during this process of pregnancy, we would get close to them and talk to them, get familiar with them, so that they would consider us as a close friend. That's why after the delivery of the cubs, after the delivery of the babies, they would not be so alerted against us. There's another question for our platform. From our camera, as we are looking at Meng Meng, for the upper body, the color is grayer. And then the middle part is whiter than the other parts. So do we give them some daily bathing activities? Indeed, the color of the fur is very important because we can tell whether he or she is in perfect health conditions by the colors of their furs. They can also roll around in the beaches of mud and try to cool their body down. When they are in the wild, when they are playing around in the beaches, then the color of the fur can get darker.
其实我们还知道啊，我们熊猫是这个喜寒怕热的这样的一个动物。
They would prefer to go to the beach of mud than to the pond for the bathing. Today it's very hot in Guangzhou. We even have the early warning for high temperature. After the pregnancy, is it a challenge for her, especially when she's pregnant now? Would she notice this extreme high temperature? Actually, inside, we have the air conditioning. Every day, early in the morning, we would let her out to have a walk in the wild, and then when the temperature grows up, we will guide the panda back to the house, back to indoors. Usually, the air conditioning would give a temperature between 25 to 26 degrees Celsius. We never let the panda out at noon or when temperature is very high. So, is this the place for her to take the rest or to sleep in the nighttime? Sometimes when we are obliged to clean the place, we will guide her to that floored area, to that chamber. Otherwise, she can always stay here for the food and for the rest. And as we mentioned before, this is the first pregnancy for Meng Meng, who's 5 years old now. So, what about the second round of pregnancy? After the first delivery, there will be time for the milking period and also another period for that breeding of the cubs. After the delivery, the babies, the cubs, would stay with the mother, that means with Meng Meng, for 1.5 years or even to 2 years. And then she would take a rest. After the rehabilitation of her body conditions, she can go to another round of pregnancy. Now Meng Meng is in a very interesting position. Is she ready to sleep? Especially in summer season, she would like to put herself to lie down on her belly like this because it can help to cool the body. And the panda would look so cute when she's in this position. So does it mean that after the food intake, she has to take some rest? Without any disturbance, she would fall asleep in this position, and sometimes she would lie on one side and sometimes lie down on her back. It's all up to her preferences. And sometimes she would also climb up the shelves and also sleep on her back. And sometimes when the panda is sleeping, you can see the saliva coming out of his mouth. For the cleaning, do we have some regulations? The panda had some preferences for the place to sleep, for example, on the straw and also on the shelves. And she stayed here since the childhood, and she will remain here until the delivery. So after the delivery, well, we always keep this panda Meng Meng in this area, or will we move her to another place? So in the future, this place will be the delivery room. When moving closer to the delivery date, we would observe a decline in the appetite and food intake. We will leave her alone and wait very quietly for that delivery date. And for those viewers who are new to this program, I'd like to brief again. And today we are doing a coverage on Meng Meng, the giant panda, one of the panda triplet, and she's the oldest of the triplet. Last year, by the end of the year, we have noticed that MoMo has come to the estrus season. And that is a very normal thing for her because has the age already. She's 5 years. And could you please tell us again when did Meng Meng go back to Sichuan Province for the mating? This year is the 5th anniversary of Meng Meng. So starting by last year already, she had already the estrus period. When we noticed the preliminary symptoms of the estrus, we have decided to move Meng Meng back to Sichuan Province. By the 8th of May, we have found some symptoms for the estrus. And then by the climax point of the estrus period, between the 15th to 17th of May, we have allowed Mei Mei to do the mating, and we have transported all the way back to Sichuan from Guangzhou Province. So by what means? By planes or by others? By plane for the keeper that stays every day with the panda. She is in company with Meng Meng. It is always the same person that feeds Meng Meng and stays with Meng Meng. In recent years, we have successfully reproduced 9 baby cubs of panda with the cooperation with that Sichuan institution. And it is thanks to this partnership that we have done this great job in the panda reproduction. As you mentioned before, we took Meng Meng back to Sichuan Province by airplane. So how could we manage to take her back on the plane? We put her inside a cage, and there's abundant supply of bamboo and also the water and other food. In that transportation cabin, it's equipped with air conditioning, so the temperature is agreeable with the panda. And the keeper that Meng Meng knows stays all the way with the panda. So was the panda with the cage of Meng Meng, or she's on the same plane? They are separated during the flight, but Meng Meng is joined by her keeper immediately after the flight. So have we noticed any changes of behaviors after taking that flight? It varies according to each individuals of the panda. I still remember when we picked up Ling Ling in the airport. there was a delay in the flight. And we have noticed a very big reaction from the panda Ling Ling. She's very angry at the moment. She's not satisfied with the flight. And she's isolated. Then with the other personnel, I came very close to her. I tried to communicate with her and also offered her some food. And finally, the panda Ling Ling was calmed down. Now, from the beginning of our interview, when Meng Meng started to eat, and then she took a rest after 20 minutes of food intake, and now Meng Meng is taking a nap. It's very good to have this sunbathing, especially for the pregnant panda. Yes, on the roof, there are some glasses to let the sunshine in. But even inside the cage, even inside this habitat, there's natural light and also sunshine. And now Meng Meng is back to sleep. It will take 3 to 4 more hours before another round of waking up and food intake.